Hi, I'm theciaellis, and welcome to this Grandma's Life podcast. I usually have an introduction for this one, and this is going to be another special episode. And because when I do that, I have two different introductions: one for my Grandma's Homestead YouTube channel, and the other one for this podcast. So I just don't do either one of them when I'm doing this. So, but it'll work. It's gonna be fine. But this is episode 55, and it's called Goals for 2024. And today is February 6th, 2024. So, yep, late again. Oh well. I'm getting there. I'm getting down to I got my word of the year. I got my how did I do in 2023 video and podcast, and now I'm doing my goals for this coming year. And just because I'm getting late getting them out does not mean that I didn't spend a lot of time thinking and planning and putting things together. And that is part of why they're late too, because I think about them, but I still have to get it gelled before I can actually put something out to you guys. I don't want to just get on here and talk about what I think I want or I think is happening or anything like that. I want to be able to speak intelligently to you and be able to convey information to the best of my ability. So let's get started. Of course, the first thing is what's happening on the farm. Well, no, let me back up just a little bit. I had to do some thinking with this for a variety of reasons because I go back every year and I look at the goals I have for each year. I've done it for 3 or 4 years, something like that. I haven't looked that far into it, but so I always every each year I look back and see what goals I had done, and then I after that year's over, I go back and see how I did with those goals. And you gotta know I write them down; they're on my wall. Everything is written down everywhere, and I've got lists. It's not like I make these goals and then walk away and forget about them. They are there in my face basically every day and almost everywhere I turn, which can be frustrating, especially whenever, like on this 2023 and probably on the previous ones, that how poorly I've done on getting things done. And so at the same time, you know what? Regardless, I have made progress. When I first started doing this, the reason I had started doing Grandma's Homestead, the YouTube channel, is because I desperately needed us to see us moving forward while we were living in a camper for 7.5 years. And so even though where I'm living now is not a wonderful place to live, it's not a camper. So I do have to look back and see some of the progress I've made over the last few years, but it's not what I wanted. And I'm 61. I'm going to be 62 in August. So I don't have the energy I used to, and that's really been hitting home with this recent surgery that I've had, and it's been in my foot. But I went to physical therapy yesterday, and I asked my physical therapist, "Am I on track? I mean, I feel good, but when I had my knee cleaned out in 2020, 2020, I had a torn medial meniscus and I had several torn ligaments, and so the doctor had gone in there and cleaned everything out. He said he scraped out some arthritis while he was in there too. And okay, I should have waited another day, but I was back to work in the laundromat the day after surgery. I felt good. I didn't understand that I didn't have any feeling in that knee, and because they do the nerve blocks and stuff. But at that time, I was a single mom and I had to get to work. And so the very next day, and the only reason I couldn't probably shouldn't have gone back to work the next day is because I still had anesthesia in my system and I still wasn't. I was every once in a while I'd have a little trouble with wooziness and trying to make change and all that other stuff. But other than that, I was back to work the next day after my knee surgery. Every abdominal surgery I'd had, now they were all laparoscopic, but every abdominal surgery I'd ever had, I was back to work within a week, and so when I had this surgery on my foot, I was like, okay, they just took out some bone spurs and a lot of calcification and stuff like that. No big deal. It's not like they had to break any bones. It's not like that, but they did have to. I think the doctor said he disconnected my Achilles tendon about 2/3 of the way. And so that's probably and that probably is one of the major things that for the rehab I'm having to do is get that Achilles tendon back put together. But honestly, where there was a big bone spur in the bottom of my foot, it does not like having weight put on that spot where the bone spur was. It's sore, it's tender, my incision's tender, but what's kind of So even as good as I'm doing, and the physical therapist is really pleased, she told me yesterday, she goes, "You're walking great," because I'm walking with shoes now. I walk slowly, and I'm training myself not to limp because apparently I limped for a long time and it's a habit. But um, when I pay attention, I walk well. And she was really pleased. But I'm thinking, it's been 7 weeks. It's been 7 weeks today since I've had this surgery. That's 6 weeks longer than anything I've ever been had to do. And then I could go back to work, you know. But so I had wondered, but she says, no, I'm not only am I on track, but I'm ahead of schedule. So, okay, I'm okay with that now, kind of. My energy level, though, even though it is slowly returning, even Saturday when we were trying to do some wall panels for the outer walls of the bathroom, I was exhausted even after just one panel, and I didn't even do half the work. I was just kind of there to help hold things up and do stuff. But whenever I'm up on the foot for any length of time, like cooking and cleaning and all that other stuff, my foot gets tired and I get to hurting, and then my energy goes down. But I've had more naps in the last 6, 8 weeks than I've had probably the last 10 years combined, you know. So I've been kind of concerned, and at the same time, and there is a purpose to what I'm telling you on all this. At the same time, I've mentioned this before too, is my parents are my parents. My dad is probably the most hard-headed, bullheaded person I know, and is not in a bad way. When he decides that something is going to happen, it will happen. He's going to move heaven and earth to make it happen. Well, he has almost died for several reasons over the years. He has a deformed pancreas, so if he takes in more fat than what he's supposed to, it's almost killed him several times. Every time they've taken him to the hospital, they told my mom that this was it, he's going to die. And 3 days later, because he couldn't eat and everything, that he actually feels better and he walks out of the hospital. So Dad is convinced himself that he's going to fight death to the very end. And I understand why, because mom's still alive. He lives for my mother. He, okay, he has in the past. And there's more to that though. But up until just recently, he was going to live. He wants to outlive mother because, well, she had a stroke when she was 65 and he's been taking care of her. Well, he's always taking care of her, but he has been her guardian since she had her stroke, and she's going to be 82 here in a couple of weeks. So they've been together for 63 years, nearly 63 years, something like that. Yeah. And so they've been together all this time, and he's going to live and outlive mom. And now it's looking like he's probably not going to. And the only reason I say that too is because he's fallen into some seriously bad dementia here recently, and he doesn't know what day it is. He doesn't know. Well, we all kind of go through that, but I'm talking about he has no concept of time at all anymore. And he lost some of that whenever he had his stroke a few years after mom. But yeah, he has no concept of time. You can leave the room and come back a week later and he thinks it's an hour later, that type of thing. And he's had some behavioral issues and stuff too. And so my point of the matter is, he's very stubborn. He wants to live. He thinks he's going to live, and he can do whatever he wants to. And up until just a few months ago, he was driving. And if you look at any of my old stuff, I can't remember. I think it was maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I was just distraught over his driving and why he was still on the road. So, but he's fine. He can do it. He's good. No, ain't nobody else going to drive because that's his car. He's going to drive it. And I'm so grateful the Lord has watched over him. He hasn't killed anybody, but it is only by the grace of God that he has not killed somebody. And so I think finally they're all kind of coming to the conclusion that dad is no longer ever going to be able to drive. Well, it's kind of coming to the conclusion that he's probably never going to come home from the assisted living that they've had to put him in. So they are only 20 years older than me. And I am trying to determine on myself, how much can I do? How much energy am I going to have? What am I going to be able to accomplish? And I don't want to be so hard-headed as dad is, but I don't look at the reality of things, but I don't want to give up on life either. So I'm still going to have my goals, and I'm going to try to temper them, and I'm going to try to, I want to work toward them, because if you don't have a goal to work toward, what's life for? Why would you even get up out of bed and go anywhere if you don't have something to live for? And I'm going to make sure I have something to live for no matter what. And if that makes me sound like dad, so be it. I will just try to, I will just try to learn to temper it. So now let me go back to my farm things. Honestly, for that reason, I'm kind of in a holding pattern. Uh, I don't know what to do with my pigs. I love those pigs. I love this breed. I don't, the one boarling I have is the son of one of my two sows, and I don't have anybody for Daisy, the other sow, and her first farrowing was a disaster. So honestly, I'm thinking that she may be going to the processor. I don't know. She's great big though, but I don't know. And then I've got the two sows, and then I've got I think there's three girls, and then Wilbur, that's my boarling. While I was down with my foot, I couldn't move them from pasture to pasture. I didn't do a good job of keeping them moved, even when I was up and going. But that's part of it, because my foot was bothering me for several months before that. So I don't know, excuses, I guess. But one way or another, I'm not taking as good a care of them as I should. And so I'm thinking, well, I'll sell some of them. Well, apparently I'm not very good at marketing either. And so right now they're all kind of all together. If they breed, they breed. If they do, if one of the young girls, or even they're not going to be registered. Because it is a registered breed. I have a breeding trio, or had a breeding trio, and all the ones that are out there are registrable. Probably except Yoda, because I had him castrated. But all of them out there are registrable, and some of them are registered. But if they start interbreeding, then that's going to blow that all the heck too. So that's kind of a holding pattern. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. Ducks. Last year, as we saw in my video, I had hoped to greatly expand my ducks and chickens and stuff too. Uh, but I've had so many predator issues. So many. It's been bad. But I'm not going to. So I'm not going to buy any ducklings. But I am probably going to hatch another batch or two for sure this year. Whenever they start laying eggs again, I'm gonna hatch some more eggs. Same thing with the layers. I've got layer birds out there that I can hatch some of those too. I've got one heritage breed turkey hen left. The other two died in the cold. The Tom and the other hen, and so I don't have a breeding trio of heritage birds of heritage turkeys anymore. And that was based from whenever I was eating a lot of turkey, and I don't so much anymore. And I couldn't sell the breeding trio. Now I'm down to one turkey hen that she's kind of lonesome all by herself, and I feel so bad for her. I feel like I've let my animals down with this foot issue and several other things too. So I don't. I'm probably gonna get her processed this summer or this spring and see what we can do with that. Rabbits, I've got Roger. He needs a girlfriend. I'm going to start actively looking for a girlfriend for him, and I'm going to start working with rabbits. He's a good rabbit. I'm glad, because last week the wind blew his cage down and it opened, and he got out, and I couldn't find him. I thought, crap. One more thing with my animals, and I don't know what to do. And then a couple hours later, I saw him down there keeping my turkey hen company, and he let me catch him and put him back in the cage, and I secured the cage better where wasn't going to fall off from the wind. And he's just been a really good rabbit, and so I need to find a girlfriend for him, and I am going to think about doing that. So with the animals, yeah, we're struggling to pay for feed right now because I can't sell anything. So basically I'm shelling out a lot of money for feed for animals that are not bringing me any money right now. So that's kind of what I'm looking at there. Am continuing to clean up and beautify. I've got some stuff done. That's wonderful. I'm going to continue it because I do have a plan for this property, and I'd like to follow through with it. We'll have to see how much of it I can get done. But even if I don't, I got to get this place cleaned up. Sounds like somebody's knocking, but it could be the washer. So I don't know. I'm home by myself, so it's gonna have to be. But the trailer house, first of all, I had done things I had wanted to do for the inside of the house. And then now I have also remembered I've still got some repairs to do. I've got to do some more work on the skirting. I've got to do get up there and try one more time to see if I can get the flashing done, because over the front door that goes from the front door or from the roof to the cover over the porch, the um, it's letting water through. The flashing has fallen off, blown off twice, and it's my front door is absolutely, and the walls around it are rotting away. So I've got to get there and put some. I got another set of flashing, a different kind, and I'm hoping I can get that to stick and do better. And maybe I can repair the walls and the door on the front porch. So I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes. I want to finish my bathroom. I got to do some trim. I've got the one more wall to do up, fix up. I've got lights I need to put up and fixtures. I'd like to get my closet done. I'd like to get um, shelves built for linens, blankets, quilts, sheets, things like that. Towels. I'd like to get a nice set that. I need to get a wood stove put in. Electricity, heating, and electricity, the electric heat in a trailer house on top of a hill with the north facing part like a 44, 46 inch height, underneath the house, even with the skirting. But the skirting is perforated and stuff too. It's kind of weird. But yeah, I need to get a wood stove to see if I can get that done too. Kenzie's bathroom desperately needs some help. I don't know. Part of me keeps thinking, man, I just want to get this stuff just patched up and done so I can live long enough so I can start working on building a house. And I may still try to do that. I want to build a house. I want to build a real house. Okay. Like I said, I'm going to be 62. Do I want to live in a trailer house for the rest of my life? I'm having trouble getting up and down the stairs whenever I'm feeling good, especially when it's icy or wet because that porch is slippery. And my mobility is not going to improve as far as, I mean, it will for a while because I'm my father's daughter and I will work on it. But, one way or another, even after I continue with my rehab and get back to, let's say 95%, I'm going to still lose some mobility. So I want to get into a regular house and do what I can with that. So, yeah, physical goals for the year. I want to finish my physical therapy and I want to get fit again. I've gotten soft. I couldn't do a lot of exercises before I finally succumbed to the physical therapy before surgery, and now recovering from surgery and doing physical therapy and stuff too. There's a lot of there. I want to get fit again, and I could say I want to lose 50 pounds. Yeah, I want to lose 50 pounds. I've been saying I want to lose 50 pounds my entire adult life, and maybe that's being a jerk, but I'm not going to make that a goal. I'm going to be fit. I'm going to do my best to lose weight, and I'm not going to set the 50-pound goal because I honestly, I no longer believe I can do it. How's that? Just to be blunt. The property, goals for the property. I am seriously considering hip camp. We've got a whole 26 acres down on the south end that we don't use, don't look at it, don't do anything with. And, there's an actual entrance down there. We can widen it and stuff, and do some things to make it, inexpensively. Set it up where I can do some hip camp. I've even got campers here that I can fix up and drag down there, and minimally I can flatten spots for um campfires and for people to park their own things and tents and stuff too. I can do that. And so to do that, I want to clean up and clean up the barn and fix it up too. Because honestly, if I'm going to do a hip camp and that somebody wants to take a shower, the one shower I'm going to have right away is going to be the one that's in the barn. To get to the one in the barn, I've got to make it where they can actually get to it and have a decent bathroom to get to. So there's some working around and stuff I can do, but all of that I think I can do with pretty inexpensively, and where I can start bringing in some money because Tom needs to retire. He is physically getting to where he's only a month older than me, but physically he's really struggling with the job he has now, and he's probably going to retire soon. And it's it financially it'll be what it is. We've never made that much money anyway, so it's not like we're going to be taking a huge loss if he does retire. So I don't know. We'll figure that out we'll have to see how he does. And but I would like to be able to fix up the barn, set that up for, um, well, I want to get cleaned out for one thing too, but I want to fix up the east side of the barn where I can have a seating area for people if they want to and watch television stuff if they want to, and certainly at the bathroom to get in there too. But right now, that's where my closet is, and one of Tom's closets, and all kinds of other stuff over in there. But yeah, that to me that would be an option. I would like to build a pond so that and fix it up where people can go fishing. I want to beautify the vineyard so people would enjoy walking through the vineyard. So there's things I want to do to make this a nice place to stay, and not just be out in the middle of a field and everything. But it'll take some work. But hey, everything we do is work anyway, I guess. Content creation. I'm going to double down on production. I'm getting a strategy put together where I can actually do some of that. It's been kind of odd the last few weeks simply because I haven't been able to physically go get out and do anything, but I'm getting better all the time. So that'll work, but that was also the opportunity I could take to do the goals for 2024, the word of the year, how did I do in 2023. I'm in the middle of a series that I'm working on the next episode of that for Are You Ready for the Next Great Depression? So there's something, and I'm going to get back to work. I'm doing almost all the chores again, which I love. And the only reason I can't do all of them right now is because we've had rain, and now I have to wear a boot when I'm doing chores because our ground is still hilly and uneven, and she doesn't want me to hurt my Achilles tendon trying to walk around on the hills without the boot for right now. But that may change like any day. Maybe next week, we'll have to see. But so I'm doing more. My energy's slowly returning, so I think I can start actually doing physical work again and doing things, and I'm looking forward to it, I have to admit. And so I'm going to do more production because I need to start. What I need to do also, not just double down on content, but the type of content. I want to do not only I want to have the content where you actually see me doing particular projects, but I'm also want to put out a few things that are kind of informative and instructional maybe and stuff. Those type of videos get better views, and I need to grow my business in for podcasting, for video channels and stuff, and I need to start earning some income. So I'm also working on affiliate programs and see if I can get some of that going too, get some sort of income coming in. I may start attending more festivals and stuff, and probably more local than instead of going to Tennessee. Like I really like to go because I like the people there. But right now I want to go to places that are more local and attend them and video them and put them out for you to know what's going on out there too. So that's pretty much what I have for 2024 for the farm, the trailer house, production, and all that other stuff. But you know what? And this is the first time that I think I have talked to you about beyond this coming year. And this year is beyond 2024. Kinsey is a junior this year, and those of you who have been with me any length of time knows that we've been raising my granddaughter, and I love her dearly. And she's going to be graduating this next year, and so I want to earn enough money to to take her on a good senior trip. We're working on. I got my passport. I'm still working on getting her passport because we've had custody ever since she was 11, but I have to go to court for every year and stuff, and I've had to, like, this is the third time I've had to submit documentation to say yes, it's okay for her to have a passport. Her parents have get her mother has given permission for her to have a passport. I got a signed documentation from her on that. I've got all kinds of stuff. And so I just sent off for the third time for see if I can get passports for Kinsey. Because if you think about it, if you need to go on a cruise, you got, if you're going to go to Belize or Bahamas or any place outside the United States, you got to have a passport. Plus, that is another tool I want her to have as she grows up and moves out of the house somewhere down the road, that she can have that tool if she needs it. So I would like to uh, not 2024. She graduates in 2025. I want to take her on a senior trip. So I've got to start planning for that. I've got to save money for it, figure it out and plan it and everything. And I want to take her on a cruise. Like I stated earlier, and I don't know how far down the road this is, I've had a house design in my head since the 90s. And I have wanted this house since the 90s. And I want to build this house. It's going to be, it'll have solar. It should have some wind because I live on top of the hill with a lot of wind most of the time. If not, if because we do have days we have no sun or wind, but one way or another, I want to have a self-sufficient home. I want a house that I can keep cool in the wintertime. In the summertime, I mean, I've got a porch system set up that I think will work. I've got a heating system that I think will work. Whether we have electricity, solar, sun, whatever, or wind or anything like that. I want to have this house, and I wanted to do my best to make that happen some before I get too old to enjoy it. And one more thing, and this has been kind of a new thing in the last few months, is I want to get one of those, like a Sprint van or Ram ProMaster or something like that, and make it into a camper. And I don't want anything bigger than that because it's probably going to be just me. And it's probably going to be just me traveling around. Uh, I just want a bed, refrigerator, maybe cook a small meal occasionally. But I don't want anything wide. I don't want anything real long. I don't want anything elaborate. You know, I just want something that I can get in the van and drive, go north in the summer, go south of the winter, and just enjoy life. That doesn't necessarily mean I'll sell this place off, but it might mean me selling off animals all together, but that's a ways down the road, and that's that's something for me to dream about. So I don't know. You read the books, you listen to the audio books, you listen to podcasts and stuff that tells you no matter what to keep dreaming and work toward that dream, and that's what I'm going to do. All right, guys, this is all I've got for you today. I would like to hear what some of your goals for 2024 are, if at all possible. I know that we already well into February, but you know what? Your goals are still your goals, and your dreams are still your dreams. And I would like to hear about them. I would like to know about them, and encourage you to move on with them too. Because you know what? Remember, my word of the year is to live. I want to live, and I want you to live. Let us live until we die. God bless. I'll see you next time.